Hey, welcome to The Secrets of Minecraft. I will be covering the most creepy and or interesting Minecraft theories and secrets in no particular order. A lot of the research for this video was done for me through this iceberg chart by Probot748, so big thanks to them. Let's waste no more time and get into it. Theory number 1. Netherrack is made of flesh. This is a theory that Netherrack is made of pure flesh, which is actually potentially true. Just look at it. It looks like meat or muscle tissue. It comes from the Nether, which is pretty much hell, and the original name for Netherrack was Bloodstone. If this is true, this could also suggest the Nether is the inside of one large decaying superorganism. The ancient builders. This is a theory that states the world was once dominated by a civilization of ancient builders. They were technologically advanced and are responsible for a lot of the structures you can find today. But something wiped them out. As to what? That's the mystery. A lot of people think it was a zombie apocalypse. Others think it was the Wither. And there's even some evidence to suggest that it was a war between two competing civilizations. Post-apocalyptic future. This is a theory that Steve is the sole survivor in a mutated wasteland, which is why there's so many undead creatures roaming the world. This theory states that villagers could also be mutants, forced to rebuild civilization after all technology was wiped out. Another secret that could possibly connect to this one is the Undead Giants. Undead Giants are exactly that. They're giant zombies. They're unused in the game. Whether it was a programming error or just cut content, I'm not sure, but perhaps they're huge because of some sort of mutation. Endermen are corrupted humans. This is a theory that humans don't exist in the Minecraft world because they've all turned into Endermen. Some evidence to support this theory is that if you play Enderman speech, they can be heard saying things like, "Hey, what's up?" and "Find the eye." If this is true, then why did they turn into Endermen? This is a mystery, but it's possible that spending prolonged periods of time in the end made them this way. But if staying in the end turns you into an Enderman, then why wouldn't they just leave, unless something was keeping them there? Which is this next theory, the Enderdragon Enslaved Enderman. This is a theory claiming that the Enderdragon is actually a ruthless dictator rather than the Enderman's leader. You can't leave the end until the Enderdragon is dead. And upon killing the dragon, you get the achievement, Free the End, suggesting that it wasn't free before. Now whether this has to do with the Enderdragon is up for debate. More Enderdragons existed. In the end, there is only one Enderdragon. However, you can find Enderdragon heads on ships, suggesting there were once more. The end dimension is in space, or more specifically, on an asteroid belt. The end, and all around the end, are floating pieces of rock. The sky around it is at least somewhat spacey, and even the portal itself has somewhat of a space vibe. In my opinion, Endstone kind of looks like a sort of lunar rock, but who knows. Sticking with the space theme, did you know that certain phases of the moon can have subtle effects on different mobs? Such as the frequency of slimes spawning in swamps is proportional to how much of the moon can be seen. The fuller the moon, the higher the chance that skeletons and zombies pick up items, as well as wear armor. Also, during a full moon, 50% of cats that spawn will be black. Let's go back to the end is in space for just a second. If this is true, then how does Steve survive without oxygen? That's where this next theory comes in. Steve is a god. Now, I take this theory as more of a joke than an actual theory, but it's still interesting nonetheless. How is Steve able to carry so much without ever losing speed? He can jump essentially an entire meter. Why is he the only one of his kind in the entire world? He starts out with nothing and goes to slaying a dragon in the matter of a few days, depending on how fast you play. There are a few issues with this theory, of course, like he can breathe in space, but not underwater. But again, I take this as more of a joke than an actual theory. The void. Right below bedrock is an infinite void. It probably has nothing to do with the lore or anything like that, but there's a possibility that it does, which is where this theory comes in. Hollow world. Minecraft is approximately 8 times the size of Earth, if you're going off the natural world border. However, for a world this size, the gravity does not match. Now, this is probably just due to the game mechanics and has nothing to do with the lore, but if the world was hollow, this could explain the lack of gravity with a lack of mass. What if the void is the hollow region of the planet? Pumpkins contain souls. Why do snow golems and iron golems immediately come to life when you place a pumpkin on their head? Could be that pumpkins contain souls. Prior to patch 1.13, all naturally spawning pumpkins had faces carved into them. But how? Who carved them? Or is it because they were more alive than we would like to think? Basalt deltas radiation. Walking around the basalt deltas, you can hear an ambient sound that sounds similar to a Geiger counter. You can also notice floating particles of ash. Put these two together, and you get a pretty clear picture. These areas could have been used for nuclear testing, or possibly nuclear accidents. Another closely related theory has to do with the Mushroom Islands. Think about it, these islands have completely different soil, completely different vegetation in the forms of giant mushrooms, and even the animals are seemingly mutated. If this isn't linked to some sort of nuclear test, or at least radiation, I don't know what is. Steve is an amnesiac. Have you noticed how simply touching water unlocks the crafting recipes for boats? Even if you haven't collected any wood. This theory states that recipes and advancements are Steve's thoughts, and at some point in Steve's history he developed amnesia and thus has to relearn all of his building and crafting techniques. Dead Star. This theory is kind of wild and most likely isn't true, but it's still interesting. It states that the Minecraft world is not actually a planet or Earth, but that it takes place on a dead star. Now, the reasoning for this is the way in which celestial objects like the supposed sun and moon, and even the stars, orbit around the Minecraft world. The sun and moon are perfectly opposite each other, and the stars all move at the same rate, which is definitely interesting. So, the Minecraft world, which is a dead star, was turned into what it is by an advanced civilization, which decided to make their own artificial planet thing, which explains why there is so much natural resources. They were all put there artificially. But that's just a crazy theory. The Wither is imperfect. This theory essentially states that the version of the Wither that we're able to spawn is not the most powerful. Because it is so relatively simple to spawn the Wither, a few blocks of soul sand and 3 Wither skeleton skulls, this theory states that that's not the correct way to spawn the Wither, but that there is a proper way, which creates the actual form of a much stronger entity. ancient debris came from a reactor explosion. This theory states that ancient debris is actually metal scraps from the aftermath of a huge reactor explosion. This explosion also gave birth to the Nether dimension, kind of like the Nether reactor core from Minecraft Pocket Edition, but just a much larger scale. This could also explain the radiation theme of the Basalt deltas. Beacons release souls. To craft a beacon, you need a Nether star, and to get a Nether star, you have to kill a Wither. It's possible that a Nether star is just a concentration of souls, which effectively runs the Wither. By making a beacon, you break apart the Nether star and release all the souls within, sending them upwards towards the afterlife as one large column of light. That's at least how this theory goes, which actually kind of makes sense to me when I think about it. Steve is in a coma. Now this theory is, again, kind of wild, but it's honestly one of my favorites, and somewhat makes sense given the evidence. So here is the evidence to support this. 1. Most of the undead mobs in Minecraft share Steve's face, or are at least very similar. 2. Steve does not dream when he goes to sleep. You just wake up the next morning. Also, your food does not cook faster overnight, which does not make any sense. And 3, when you beat the game, you get the end poem, which makes references to life being a dream. And the very last words of the poem instruct the player to wake up. Now, there's some other things people point to, like the different dimensions representing different levels of the subconscious mind, which is really interesting, but I'm not sure if that's the case, but I'll cover them anyway. The overworld would represent the surface level subconscious, where imaginations can run wild and memories are kept. It represents the present. The Nether would then represent trauma or unfortunate past events, bad memories, or just the chaos of our minds, or just overall the past and how we often visualize it. And the end represents the future, or the hopeful, naive part of our minds, overcoming obstacles and facing fears and accepting challenges. But again, this is all just a theory. And now the final theory, if you could call it that, on our list. Blocks in the end feel pain. On the official Minecraft YouTube channel, they made a video called Minecraft's The End, 10 Things You Probably Didn't Know About Minecraft. And they literally said in that video that all blocks in the end feel pain when you mine them. Now, I watched the video, and I can't tell if they're joking because of the tone of the video. It all seems very sarcastic and joking, but assuming they're not joking and that this is canon in the lore, that's extremely disturbing and a great way to end this video. If you made it to the end, thanks so much for watching this video. It means a lot. I had a lot of fun making this. If you enjoy stuff like this, video game lore and secrets, be sure to subscribe because that's all I make videos about. This is only the 5th video in total on my channel, and I've already hit, last time I looked, 1,000 subscribers. It's probably a little bit higher than that by now, but it's pretty wild, so thanks so much. I'll do my best to keep making interesting videos because I love doing this. And be sure to leave suggestions for games for me to play and make videos on in the comments. Also, Discord. I have made a Discord. The link will be in the description, as well as I'll probably pin it in the comments. And let me know what else you guys would like me to do with the community. I'm super new to this, so bear with me as I get adjusted. Anyways, that's all I have to say today. Thanks for watching. Peace.